Well, hello everybody. It's Danny back from Deepsouth Homestead on porch time today. Sitting out here in our swing, guys. Just enjoying the day that the Lord has given us here. It's a Sunday morning. Woke up in the nice, beautiful sunrise. Good, clear, crisp morning in the 50s out here this morning. Running around trying to get the chores done this morning. Miss Wanda's out trying to water everything. Watering is becoming a big issue right now. I looked at our really extended forecast, and if there's any truth to it, they're only showing 1.5 to 2 days in the whole rest of the month of October for us to even have a chance of a shower, and then it's only a 30% chance. And then the month of November, they only showed like 3 days for the whole month of November. I'll be honest with you, I sure hope they're wrong, because it is so dry here right now. It's scary. And no freezes for the whole month of November, or as far as I could see into November, past right to Thanksgiving. Up to Thanksgiving, they showed no freezes. They did show a few mornings in the 30s, but not even down to frost level, hardly. So that's a little concerning. I guess if you're looking for the good side of this is the frost ain't gonna kill the grass, and maybe my cows will still have some grass to eat without having to eat hay. But it really sets me back, because I really need to be able to plant grass for, ryegrass for the cows, and my clover and stuff that I do every year. I really need to be able to get the gardens ready for, for fall. There's so much stuff I need moisture for. My food plots, I hadn't even planted the food plots. They're still, food plot number 1 is still this deep in just green grass. The deer are just walking around in it, just grazing all over the place. I hate to even destroy it to plant anything. For the freezes when they happen, I've kind of got this sneaky feeling that we're going to go from just, how would you say it? From just, kind of cool to just freezing. We're not going to really get that transition period where you have a lot of moisture. Now, one thing I am noticing, because we got pecan trees here now, most of the pecans are good, but they're not coming out of the hull. We need, I've been experimenting with moisture and dry. We really need the moisture to dampen the pecan hulls, and then when they dry, kind of like a pine cone. When a pine cone gets wet, it closes up, and then when it dries, it opens up and it gets wet and dry, and it shoves the seeds out so that they plant more pine trees. Well, I'm kind of noticing the same thing with the pecans. The pecans will kind of suck in, and then they'll dry, and then they shove the pecan out. Well, that's not happening here, because it's just screaming hot, dry, no rain. Now, we have a little dew in the mornings, but that's about it. And it's not allowing the pecans to push out of the hull. See, that's something I never really gave much thought to growing up as a guy. I did know it about the pine cones. That's how they plant. They have poplar tree. That's how and magnolias and stuff. That's how I don't know what you call them, but the flower anyway that makes the seeds on them. Open and shut, and they shove those seeds out. And as a result of that, I have now a green thumb. Everybody always talks about me having a green thumb. Well, I actually have a green thumb right now. And that comes from, it won't go away, because it's going to have to wear off. Because a lot of my pecans are falling off the trees, still in the green hulls. The green hulls are opening, but they're just falling off the trees, and when you go to pick them up, the hull's still attached in the very back end of it, and I take my thumb and just kind of push that hull off. Well, when I do, now my whole thumb has ended up to be green on the end. Well, it was green to start with. Now it's kind of a yellowish black look. It looks really, really bad, but nothing I can do about it. It don't want to come off. And you guys who fool pecans know what I'm talking about. But it's kind of one of those things that, it's just part of it. It's just part of it. But sitting out here this morning, we got the syrup building. We're kind of getting it going. We're kind of getting it laid out here. I have the slabs poured now. We got the slabs for the smokehouse poured. I have got the blocks laid. filled with cement. I am in the process of actually beginning the logs to build it out of, going up. It's just it's a pretty good little process to do the logs on it. I'm working on that while we have this real pretty, nice weather to get outside and do something in. Now, it has been getting up in the 90s, during the day, but the mornings are in the 50s, and that's a pretty big. It's like a 40-degree temperature change. I come out in the morning in this little long sleeve shirt, and probably I should have it off now, to be honest with you, because it's already up to 60-something degrees out here, and I usually have it off by now. But in the mornings, I'm on the Ranger riding around, and that cold wind blowing in my face kind of chills me down. So I don't want to get a sniffles or anything like that. So I kind of just use the long sleeves in here. But we got the we got the building built here. We got the cane mill thing sitting up here. Got my sink installed here. Got some things going on in here. We got the deer skinning thing. Got electricity out here now. Got lights. We got the clay on the ground here. I've got to get some limestone in here on the ground so that we're not walking in mud if it happens to get damp under here. That's another thing down the road that's got to be done. And if I don't get my syrup cooker done, I might use my old one from last year if I don't have time to get this one laid. I'm hoping I do. Hope I do. But you don't ever know. You don't ever know. Depends on how much time I have. Because I'm running in like 10 different directions all the time. Plus trying to keep pecans picked up, trying to keep food growed, trying to keep things built. I'm still in the middle of building our home. I'm still in the middle of remodeling Deepsouth Homestead. I've got tons of projects going on all at the same time. And I have to kind of like prioritize based on the weather as to what I can get done. Cold weather's coming. I'm trying to get some heat in our new home. Got the wood heaters in now. I'm trying to get, got one of them kind of positioned in place. Got the stone all laid. Got the, it's pretty much ready to go if we need some heat. But the other one I've got to lay the tile and everything for it. I'm kind of way behind on that one. And it's one of the things when I went to use my wet tile saw. You might know the water line in it had rotted off. Had to take it all apart and go inside and kind of fix all that. And it's always something broke when you're on a farm. That seems like when you need to do something, there's always something broke. But anyway, that's neither here nor there and all that stuff. Today I was as I was walking around this morning, I always ask the Lord, what would you really have us talk about today? I want to be a blessing to people. I don't want to just get on here and just be a talking head. I want to be a blessing to someone. That's just the goal in my life, is to be a blessing to other people and to give to other people. And as I thought about, we have all these things that's happening. They're like hurricanes usually come, and the bad ones usually come at the end of August, maybe the 1st of September. Now here we are in October having these bad hurricanes, and they're talking about even more in November. And I'm like, I thought about when bad things happen. We want to blame somebody, and our government is the world's best at this, is playing the blame game. When something happens, we want to blame somebody. Well, the truth of the matter is, we're in a solar maximum right now, and what's happening is cyclical. Now, yes, man can tamper with storms. He can do things with storms. He can't direct them wherever he wants them to go. I've been doing depth inside studying, talking to people who's in these fields and stuff like that, and they haven't quite mastered directing a storm yet and making it go in a specific. Now, they can definitely tamper with the intensity of it. Now, that they can. And they are experimenting with it. Like Milton, they've done a lot of experimenting in Milton with dropping stuff on the inside of it to try to see if it would cool it down where it wouldn't be so intense. And now, they're gathering data from all this stuff. I'm no expert in these fields. I just know what I've been told, from talking to different ones. But, when something bad happens, we want to blame somebody. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, 90% of the people around blame God when something bad happens. You know, and Lord, why did you let this happen? And the bottom line is this, most all the time, God doesn't even really play a part in it. You know, I mean, we live in a universe where things just happen. You know, if we sit up here and we go, well, man is causing this to happen, and the climate to change and do this, and for temperatures to do this, and for storms to be like this, and all that on the earth here with man, it's man's fault, it's man's fault. Well, if that's the case, then I need someone to explain to me, why is it that, let's see if I get this right, Saturn, Mars, Venus, all these other planets out there are having the exact same things happen to those planets that's happening to our planet, as far as storms, temperature changes, you know, all these kind of things are doing exactly the same thing on the other planets. And from having people that are friends of ours that's in certain fields, these things are cyclical, and they've happened throughout history. This is nothing, it's not new. I mean, even Solomon in the scriptures tells us there's nothing new under the sun. This is not the first time this has ever happened to us. As a matter of fact, archaeologists, I get that word out in a minute, archaeologists are doing tons of digs, and they're actually finding stuff deep underneath the earth that seems to point to the fact that we've been where we're at now before in history, because they're finding things, you know, like a couple hundred feet deep under the surface of the earth, and it was all wiped out at one time, and here we are again, you know, back, and these storms are right back fixing these things are starting to happen on the earth just like they've always happened. But we always want to blame God, you know, and what is it? Get this right. James, in the book of James, chapter 1, verses, where is it down there? About 13 and 14, somewhere along in there. Let no man say when he's tempted, I'm tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempts he any man, but every man's tempted when he's drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Yeah, we see that God doesn't do a lot of this stuff. God doesn't tempt mankind. God can't be tempted, and neither he don't tempt anybody. So we're sitting here going like, well, God just, you know, why you let this happen, God? And well, sometimes if we just get honest about it, and we're open-minded with the scriptures and quit being so closed-minded because we think that scriptures was written to a Western culture when it wasn't, we got to open our minds up and say, Lord, you know, what's really going on here? Your creation is crying out. In other words, in the last days, the scripture teaches us that the earth will travail like a woman in labor. The earth is, because of what's going on in the solar system, and because of what man's doing. I'm not trying to say man's not doing anything, because man is doing stuff. With all the nuclear stuff and all we have now, we got CERN, and you know, we got several CERNs on the face of the earth. We don't have just one. And then we've got lots, every country has a harp, and we have several harps. You know, we have all these things that are going on. And because of this binary system that's out in our galaxy out there that's causing a tremendous pull on our solar system, our Earth is in travail. The center of it's heating up because of the geomagnetic fields that's going around the Earth. And we're sitting here wanting to blame somebody when it's cyclical. It's just, we're just going through a cycle, and just happens to be in our lifetime. You know, I mean, we got a planetary alignment coming in October the 24th, I believe it is, that hasn't happened in 2,000 years. Is it going to do anything? I don't know. We just know that it hasn't happened for 2,000 years. The last time it happened was, 79 AD, I believe it was, something like that, when right after the temple was destroyed, and you know, by the Romans. I mean, so I don't know what happened on the earth back then. I wasn't there, but there's a lot of speculation. I mean, they can go back and look at history and see what happened during that period of time. There was evidently lots of earthquakes and lots of volcanic activity. You know, all these things happen when these cyclical events come around. So when bad things happen, people have a tendency to want to blame somebody. It happens in marriages. When I was counseling, I saw it in marriages. I see it in businesses. I see it in governmental offices. I see it when nature, when things happen in nature, people want to blame somebody. I mean, we always want to put the blame on someone else. I mean, I'm just as guilty. When my wife, former wife, passed away, I blamed God for taking her life. I blamed God for not letting her live out her full life. I got angry with God, you know, and it wasn't. It took a while. I'm not gonna lie, it took a while. Wanda will tell you. Even when we married, I was still dealing with a lot of it, which was 2 years later. And the Lord finally told me, He said, look, she belonged to me before she belonged to you. And she was mine. I have the right to do with her what I want to do with her. And I had to come to the conclusion that that's actually, that's accurate. And I'll be honest with you right now, I'm really kind of glad, in the shape she was in with her cancer, that she's not here having to go through the system, shall I say, that we have here today. And with saying that about the system, there's something I want to mention to you guys, because I always tell y'all I'm tired of I'm gonna call it tongue holding, okay? Holding the tongue. I'm gonna try really hard to slip some things in, and maybe not get took down for it. Okay? Now there is a how shall I say this? You're gonna have to work with me here now. Okay? There's a program out here. It's called ESF 8 through 14. Now there's actually like 18 points to it, but it's called ESF 8 through 14. Now that is it's an emergency service function is what it stands for. And each one of the 8 through 14, each function that's there covers a specific area of life. One of the functions deals with animals, veterinarian procedures, diseases in animals and stuff like that. One of them deals with humans. If we come down with something, we can be quarantined. We can be taken from our place without any say-so, and we can be put somewhere against our will. Some of it has to do with nature, with the weather. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it, because what I want you to do as an individual is look up ESF 8 through 14. California's been using it for a while now, which doesn't surprise me. Actually, Oregon, Washington, and some other places. But every so often when I do these porch times, I want to bring something to your attention that is that's not good, okay? And that's the reason I said today, when things go bad, things are going to go bad, guys. This particular function of the government is not good, and things are going to go bad, okay? They're now moving into more rural southern states, shall I say, with groups of people, allowing them to come in now, and they're actually infiltrating them into communities. And there's lots and lots and lots of people that's very upset about this, me being one of them. Lots of people are beginning to carry their own sidearms now because of this. And this is how it's all coming about. And this is one thing that irritates me to no end, okay? A lot of older people have places that they've worked their whole life for, and when it comes to the end of their life, their children have moved on to the cities, and forgive my French, okay? Don't give a rat's ass about anything that mom and dad or grandma and grandpa worked their life to achieve. And that's how bad it irritates me, okay? And they just put it up for sale and sell it. And people like BlackRock and all these different people come in and they're buying it up. And they're moving the new people who've come into our country into these areas and giving them places to stay free of charge. You know, I mean, power bills, water bills, housing, but let you or me ask for that and we can't have it. And we're a citizen of this country. When things go bad, things are fixing to get bad. If we end up under a more democratic society, we are going to go from bad to worse. Now, I'm not endorsing either way, because really, to be honest with you, you would only be choosing the lesser of two evils. But I do believe that there's more hope on one side than there is the other. And I'm not getting political. I'm not telling you to do, or I'm not telling you to vote any one way or the other. I'm just telling you to vote morally, okay? I do want you to go vote, because I'm going to go vote. Not that I think it will make a lot of difference, but it's a right that we have, and I don't want to lose it. There is talk, or chatter, so I use the word chatter. There is chatter out there that there could, or this could be, I got to watch my words, that this could be the last time we have this privilege to actually choose someone. Because should we end up under a more democratically controlled environment, then certain agendas are already on the table, and they are not going to let these go away, okay? They're going to, let's just put it this way, they were planning on having this stuff done already, and they got knocked back 4 years. So now they're having to gain ground. My prayer is that the Lord will be merciful to us, His people, and make us a Goshen in the middle of Egypt. You know, that's what I'm praying for. Now, there is an agenda out there. Let me give you something else to think on. There is an agenda out there to make you hate the government. And if they can succeed at this, then there's a program that's already in place, it's already been funded and everything, that's in place to be the new change. And the crazy thing about it is, you're going to love it, but it will be the end, okay? It will take you to your end, but it's going to, because you're going to hate your government so bad because of what they've done, that when this new so-called system is implemented, you will actually love it, because you'll think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it'll be your end. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to go into any kind of in-depthness on it, because it's the areas I want you guys to begin to do your own research in. I mean, I've already done mine, and I know what I know, and And I've always told you guys, I'm going to try not to hold my tongue as much as I've been in the past, but I'm going to just gradually, week after week, as I do these porch times, I'm going to try to, you know, maybe let a few things in. And I may speak in parables. I may speak in riddles. I may, you know, use different ways to get messages across here on Porch Time for as long as I'm allowed to do it. You know, they may take it away. Every video, I figure they'll take it away or they'll take the video down, because they've taken several of mine down. One of my most important ones I ever done in my life, they took down. You know, what God showed me in 1985 or 87, it was one of those years. I'd have to just really sit down and think about it, about America. I actually put that video out there and they took it down. And it is all coming to fruition. Everything I said in that video is coming to fruition. I actually had it on Patreon, and they took it down on Patreon. So that kind of irritated me, because it was a vision that the Lord gave me when I was in the ministry back in the 80s, and I was preaching it then, and it did not come to fruition during that time, but it is now beginning to unfold exactly like the Lord showed it to me. And that's been quite a few years ago. And as I tried to convey that across to people, you know, they took it down. If I didn't have it already saved on a video somewhere, I wouldn't even have it no more. I mean, they literally took it down. So that's where I'm at. And today, I'm not going to keep it long today, because I've got a lot of things I really would like to get done today. We have to go pick up our Azure Standard. The truck's been broke down, and we have to leave to go pick it up in another town from here, about a 40-minute drive from here. So I got to go get that today, and didn't want to just, you know, spend a lot of time here this morning. But I love you guys, and I really appreciate y'all taking the time to sit down and to listen to Porch Time, because it's always a joy for me to be able to share things with you and talk about the Lord and be able to implement. They're not going to allow me to do this, you know, forever. I'll have to stop at some point, because when you read ESF 8 through 14, you'll understand why. My speech will be stopped at some point, especially talking about the Lord, because it won't go along with their agendas. Let's just say that. So guys, have a blessed day. Today is I have to look at my watch to see what the date is. Today's the 13th, Sunday the 13th. So just so you know when this video was made, so if anything happens between now and Tuesday morning, you will know I made this video on Sunday morning. It is 8:56 in the morning. Thank you guys from Deepsouth Homestead.